Ever pull a cake from the oven and wonder why it came out heavy, tight, and disappointingly flat? You followed the recipe, you measured carefully, you did everything right, and still the cake baked up like a brick instead of a fluffy cloud. That kind of failure feels personal. But here's the frustrating truth. The problem may not be you at all. It may be the baking powder sitting in your pantry. Baking powder isn't just powder. It's a complete leavening system built to help batter rise. Inside that can are ingredients that create carbon dioxide gas when moisture and heat hit them. Those gas bubbles are what lift your cake, build its crumb, and turn dense batter into something light and tender. Most grocery store baking powder is double-acting, which means it works twice. First, it releases some gas when it gets wet. Then it releases more in the oven as it heats up. That second burst is a big reason cakes rise well and set with a soft texture instead of staying squat. But here's the catch. Once baking powder is opened, it slowly loses power. Heat, humidity, and accidental moisture all chip away at its strength. An open can is often best used within about 6 months. Even if it looks fine, it may not be able to produce enough gas to give your cake the lift it needs. So when a cake comes out flat, it's easy to blame your mixing or your measuring. But sometimes the real issue is simpler than that. There just weren't enough bubbles, and that matters. If baking powder can't produce enough carbon dioxide, your batter stays tight, your cake stays dense, your muffins stay squat. The science is simple, but the result can be incredibly disappointing. The good news is, you do not have to guess. You can test your baking powder in about 10 seconds. Take half a teaspoon of baking powder and add it to a few tablespoons of warm water. Watch closely. If it fizzes right away and foams strongly, it's still active enough to use. If it barely reacts or just dissolves with a weak little fizz, it's time to throw it out. That tiny test can save your next cake. It turns a mystery into a clear answer. Good powder or bad powder. Keep it or replace it. No more hoping a half-used container from last year still has enough power left. And if you want better baking every time, storage matters just as much as freshness. Keep baking powder tightly sealed in a cool, dry cupboard. Store it away from the stove, the dishwasher, and anywhere steam hangs in the air. Never dip in with a wet spoon, because moisture can start the reaction early and waste its strength before it ever reaches your batter. Skip the fridge or freezer too. Condensation can sneak into the container and shorten its life. The goal is simple. Keep moisture out and keep the powder dry until the moment you need it. A small habit can make a big difference here. Write the open date on the lid. That way you are not trusting mystery-age baking powder when it's time to bake. You'll know when it was opened, and you'll know when it's time to replace it. And if you want one more confidence boost, remember this. Expired baking powder is usually a quality problem, not a safety crisis. It may not be dangerous, but it won't perform well. It won't build the rise your cake depends on. So the next time a cake falls flat, don't panic. Check the powder first. If the bubbles aren't immediate and foamy, replace it. If they are, you're ready to bake with confidence. Fresh baking powder means stronger rise, lighter crumb, and cakes that finally turn out the way you hoped. Before your next cake, do the quick fizz test. If the bubbles aren't there, toss it and start fresh.